We should be live. If you can hear us, let us know. May have to refresh.
F5! F5!
F5! F5! And stuff. And like our videos, everything's been going smooth. Everything's been going pretty good. I'm really impressed. Looks like we're recording. Everything's going. Oh, no, we are not. Local recording now? We are recording now.
It's being recorded. With a commercial. Yay, commercials!
I have no commercial on my screen, by the way, so that's you.
Of course you don't.
That's me.
Twitch did something. I don't know what Twitch did, but hats off Twitch for somehow getting around ad block, fuckers. It's alright. Ad block's still worth it. I donated to them once when I got it. I gave them like $30 or something because it was worth it because ad block is awesome sauce.
No, okay, yeah, everything looks to be going okay, so we're good to go. And this is like what? PreRamble number 12?
Oh god, I lost track.
Yeah, I did too. I'm not caring.
When I'm recording The Adventures of Sewer Bear, which I still have no idea how we're distribute, but I still record the episodes. I stopped doing episode numbers because I cannot remember for the life of me. So I do dates now.
You do dates?
Because I don't remember. I guess this is Sewer Bear for October 21st, 2017. Just because I don't remember. I could write it down, but I never remember at the end of the session. It's like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and sometimes it's been frustrating as crap because one of my new players is a giant pain in my ass.
Pain in the ass? What? Players being pain in the ass?
Literally giant. He's like 6'4". Good lord. Oh, I should let you listen to that one point. The one session I'm not sure is going to go out to everyone because I believe the actual time it took us to do the session was less than the real time elapsed in the session, in the game world. And there's no combat. It was just dialogue between two people. It was frustrating as crap some points.
Well, we should probably get those up and put them back in. We'll just put them as part of the podcast. I mean, it's not that big deal. We'll just say, hey, here's a freebie. You'll get it when you get it, type thing.
Yeah, I'll have to. I have a bunch. I have to figure out how to edit because I want to put an opening and closing on those because I don't do it when I record. So I'm sure I'll figure that out. It can't be that hard.
Yeah, it's actually not really. It's not that hard. That's something I learned quite quickly was how to do all that. I mean, you just got to find the sound, and there's tons of free sounds on YouTube. So you could, if you use XSplit, you could just set it up, or you could set it up in XSplit, record it all, or do whatever, and it's a lot easier. Like doing your minis and movies, I put them into Movie Maker, and then just copy and paste our screen over and over and over and over and over until I get to the end of the section, and then done. Hey, Rave Bomb. Hey, Congo. How's it going, guys?
Oh, Rave Bomb. Back again. Welcome, man.
What? I'm drinking a little bit. We're going to have to have a moment of silence during the main podcast, but just remind me, a moment of silence.
I better write that down because my memory is not what it used to be.
Did you write down the questions that we have to answer?
Oh, write them down? Didn't someone send those in like...
I sent them in Messenger, I think.
They're in the Messenger. I can find those easy peasy.
Okay. As long as you can find them.
Yeah, I'll find them.
Because Tectonic Dan
co-trooped. Good dude.
He is actually... Him and I have been talking quite a bit lately. Personal and business stuff.
I haven't talked to him since he was here sleeping in my house. Because he actually knows my roommate also, unrelatedly.
Weird.
Which is super funny.
I don't even know your roommate, so what are we talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Do I know your roommate?
She just met him random. No, you do not.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's so odd.
Yeah, because he messaged me because we were talking about... he was wanting to get in our room at War Machine Weekend, and we were already full. We talked about other stuff, but he's also willing to donate some terrain features to my local game store for like price support. All we have to do is pay like shipping or whatever. And I was like, that's fucking baller. He wanted to come on, and I told him, yeah, we can get you on a date. Just let me get stuff straightened and everything else. And we will get you on and talk about, prefabricated terrain and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, I think for War Machine and Hordes, I think that's with the way the game is played, Flat Train is perfect. But for like Guild Ball and that small skirmish games or like Star Wars, perfect. I think his stuff is really good for that.
Well, yeah, actually, I could do a whole podcast, and actually, I will save all my comments from that podcast because I have interesting thoughts on that. Because I've had to take up the fight a couple times at the local game store, put up the Dukes and all, go head to head with some of the guys who are being douches. Which I don't know why you need to walk around and be douches. Come on, dude, just go on and do your thing.
No, but I mean, him and I have been talking a lot lately about that and just personal stuff, and so that's kind of cool. We'll see if we can get him on. I'm sure he will. He loves me. He thinks I'm special. But he had what? He has some questions that we have to answer on the podcast.
Yep, got him right here.
So let's see. What did you do since you've been gone for like 6 weeks and just don't care about what goes on anymore? You just want to go out partying now.
If only that was actually what happened. Oh, so the reason I wasn't on last week is because the internet wasn't always down, but it was down a lot.
Yeah.
And it turns out the reason why was because we had too much signal.
I've actually heard that before.
I know it's a thing. It just sounds stupid because basically,
Yes.
since we don't have cable, it was giving all the signal, and sometimes it would go down and it'd be enough that we could handle it. And other times it'd be like, nope, you can't handle this. So apparently they've fixed it, and we've upgraded our internet, so it should be better now.
Better.
Here's hoping. I mean, it's still not expensive, so that's good. But in the 2 weeks, let's see. I've only watched one movie in 2 weeks.
I watched 3 movies today, so you are fired, dude.
Well, I don't count the movies I watch for the other podcast, but I mean,
For the other
I have enough time.
podcast? What other podcast? Are you cheating on me already?
You posted it. Minis and movies. Come on.
No, that's part of this podcast. That's not another podcast. That's this podcast.
The other part of the podcast.
Okay, there we go. Other part of the podcast.
But I have been watching. Yeah, I have some TV updates too. So
Okay.
I've been totally doing it. It's just I've been having my TV time in smaller chunks, making it difficult to watch an entire movie.
Oh, I watched 3 movies today while I was painting my King of Nothing.
Oh, ooh. No, I played Borderlands 2 today.
On what system?
Computer.
Just computer. Well,
Yeah.
PlayStation had like a huge sale on the entire Borderlands thing, and I have to tell you, I've never played Borderlands, so I'm like one of those rare geeks that never did it, and so it was like the Handsome Collection or whatever that PlayStation
Handsome
had.
Collection's pretty good.
Yeah, and I was like, it was like $12. I'm like, yeah, I could deal with that. I haven't done anything with it yet because I've been busy with, the podcast and War Machine Weekend and trying to kick ass at tournaments and work and all that good stuff, nerd stuff.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, that, and then I've had some pretty crazy weeks at work, and then Fridays I've been running an actual slow grow league for the actual population at large at games and stuff. And that is kind of interesting because when I'm running a slow grow league for my friends, when we're done playing, I can just leave. But when we're running for a bunch of people, I have to stay till they're done. And one of the guys does not understand the meaning of, hey, I've been up since 5 this morning and I'm sick. Maybe you shouldn't play a second game tonight.
Why do you have to stay around?
Because I have to collect their sheets and everything and make sure everything's on the up and up.
Oh, do you have cheaters?
No, but we're going to make sure we don't have cheaters.
Gotcha.
So, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. is a little more than my middle-aged body can handle some nights, especially when I'm sick. So, but that was good. And I actually get one game in this week of Malifaux against one of the newer guys. I may have been a little harsher with him necessary, but he has been crushing his other buddy out of hand, and we had a great time because he's not too serious about it, which I like. And I use what is basically called the Killjoy missile, where my master Killjoy starts off table, buried. No one can affect him, rarely, or very few things can affect him. And my master moves forward, finds a appropriate group of people, and then unburies him and sends him in. And then he murders things. And then when it gets too much, I bury him again. Now, since it's the Slow Grow League, there is a bonuses for not cheating during the entire game.
Uh-huh.
And my opponent said, I'm not going to cheat the entire game. So I said, okay, I will also not cheat the entire game.
Yep.
Which, if you're ever playing in a league like that, and someone takes a disadvantage like that, like, I'm not going to boost the entire game, if that were actually a thing that got you points, try and do the same thing. It'll make the game more interesting.
Gotcha.
Because otherwise, like, I've played a game where my opponent's like, I'm not going to cheat. And at that point, I'd already cheated it once during the game. So I'm like, well, one of the turns I won't cheat, but otherwise, sorry, you're going to have to suck it.
Yeah, but this is...
a game like this, where you can, like, oh, you've got an 11, I'll go to a 12, because you can't cheat, and I don't need to waste a good card, I can waste a shitty card. It's kind of anticlimactic sometimes.
Yeah, but this is, in case anybody doesn't know, this is legalized cheating.
Yeah, legalized cheating. Playing cards out of your hand to change your total is called cheating, but it's not really cheating. It's cheating in the terms of the game.
Correct. It's not cheating as in, oh, I pick up this dice and wow, it's now a 5 instead of a 3.
No, it's that one I flipped is not good enough. I'm going to play this 13 from my hand because I wish this to succeed. Or, hey, I don't need the suit I've got. I need this other suit, so I'm going to play that out of my hand. It does make things more interesting. We did have a good game, even though I pretty much crushed him completely and totally out of hand. I killed every model but his master with Killjoy. Especially funny where at one point he's like, oh, I'm far enough away, you're never going to get Killjoy over there. So I'm like, oh, really? Well, I put him back in the box, as I like to call him. Then I wander over here, and then I fire him back at you. It's like, that's not cool. I mean, actually, it's really cool. He's like, you're right, that's really cool, but it's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
The whole game is bullshit. Yes, Congo, you're cheating fate, as it is. Cheating fate is actually the technical term for it. But no, it was a good, fun game. I got some enjoyment out of it. I could see how a couple things work. Since he wasn't cheating and my deck liked me more than his liked him, I got to do a lot of cool things. Like put his... there's this cool new guy called Talos. He's a giant construct. He's got this giant furnace in him, and he stuffs people in there. Just pretty dark. So I took his master, the undead demon chick, and threw her in there, and he couldn't get out and ended up roasting her to death in there. So it was a good time, and we've got, I think I got 6 or 7 paid people.
That's good.
Which is cool. I actually, instead of getting just gift cards, because I feel like gift cards, while they're fine, they're a little boring sometimes.
Yeah. So
I took the equivalent funds and spent them online for tokens and extra cool stuff. And I think the guys are going to give me some other free stuff to go with it, because I told them it was for my Slow Growing League. We're going to talk this week about it, and I will have an update, and of course let you guys know who that is.
In case anybody doesn't know, I'm also on the Gateway Open, which is going to be changing its name, committee. And we deal with, all the different games. And we had our first meeting, and one of the things we met about was what games do we want to host this year. While we were originally just a War Machine and Hordes, since we broke away from Daikon, we've been doing our own, and we're like, oh, well, we will have, last year we had Age of Sigmar and Infinity. Okay. So I was like, what are some other games that we could have? Well, 40K. Since it's now getting bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one. And we were like, what about smaller games? Well, always can get X-Wing, because X-Wing's pretty good.
Lord.
There's always X-Wing stuff. And I was like, well, what about like Malifaux or the Batman game? Because Batman game's getting bigger because it started a new system, new rule set and stuff. And we also, and Malifaux too, we just don't know how big that system is for people coming to a first time year doing it. You know what I'm saying? And so that was something I was like, I'll have to look into. I know someone that knows a shit ton about Malifaux and knows some people about Malifaux, and I can bug him. John.
Yeah. Well, yeah, remind me afterwards, and I'll jump on a Weird Place Facebook group and see what kind of interest they would have in that, see what they say.
I'd like to have a Malifaux at Gateway Open for the simple fact that, one, I can't remember what we're going to be changing it to. I'm totally out of the loop on it. But To me, it's played on a small enough board because that's one of the. And I wouldn't say negative, but it's one of the things we have to be careful of. Is the space is 40K and Age of Sigmar take a huge amount of table space.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be careful on that. So it's just like
6x4s are big.
Yeah, and so we can get 3 or 4 more extra tables if we don't do those. But 40K is getting bigger, and I think the Age of Sigmar stuff is getting a little bit smaller. So we're going to look into that.
Yeah, it's a fluctuation. I think some of the guys were playing Age of Sigmar because it was new and 40K was not in a good place. And
Correct.
now they're back.
So yeah, that was one of the games. Malifaux,
So that was pretty much me.
Infinity, and some other things.
Sweet. So like I said, that was pretty much me for the week. It was, I would say, interesting, but man, it was. Actually, I played some Alpha Fire, but we're probably going to talk about that a little bit on the main cast because that's a little more in depth. What did you do this past week?
Did some work and did a little bit of painting at work because I have like some hour breaks at work that I have where I can do some stuff. So because I'm trying to finish up the rest of my Grimkin stuff for War Machine Weekend. I have 8 Kravitz, 1 Glimmerkin, and 1 more Skin and Bones to paint.
I only know what one of those models are. That's how out of it I am as far as Grimkin.
Skin and Bones, rawr, with a repositioned arm.
I know what that is.
Okay. Then there's the Kravitz, which are demonic rabbits.
Okay.
And then a Glimmer Imp, because I need some type of matte debuff.
Gotcha.
He's a little cool. And that's all I got to paint for the rest. So I got 8 Kravitz and stuff. Let's see. Like I said, Gateway Open, whatever we're redesigning it as, we have to. We're talking about what games we want to fit into it, which is War Machine and Hordes always, because we have a qualifier that's going to be there. Then we're going to have Infinity, because that had a decent pairing. Guild Ball, because that had a decent we can get a decent showing out of that. But we were wondering, about like Malifaux or the DC Batman game or whatever. And those are ones we're talking about. And we want to see how big Batman's going to get, because it's actually starting to pick up some steam with a new edition and new models coming out. I haven't gotten my new Banes yet, but that's what I'm waiting on.
I'm kind of torn on the new models.
The one thing
I really want to get one in my hands before I really pass any judgment, but I'm a little hesitant.
The one thing I've heard is people complain is that they are plastic, but they didn't drop the price on them.
Oh.
So,
well, for everyone out there who has that problem, please remember, getting into plastic is expensive as crap.
What?
Yes, so I have figures they're about a decade and change old, but like a mold for plastic models, back in the day was like $100,000 for a big model. Making your money back on that is very difficult. So please keep that in mind when you're judging them.
Yeah. So we're just waiting. We're just kind of, it's not until June, but we're trying to get a head start on everything.
Oh yeah, start early. I mean, the more planning you do on the front end, the less you got to worry about in the couple weeks right before.
Yeah, and we're also going to do some, since I'll be running a bunch of stuff, and I'm on Course War Machine Weekend group. Committee or whatever. Yeah, I'm on the committee for War Machine Weekend. So we were going to have some flyers built up for War Machine Weekend for Midwest Melee, or not Midwest, Gateway Open. So, I played in a tournament yesterday.
Oh, snap. How'd you do?
I got second place.
Awesome.
I don't know why I'm getting second place, but I should not have won 2 of my games. First game I played against Gorshade 3, and I can't remember which theme list, but it had... it's the one where Dawn Guards get flanking and something else.
Gorshade 4.
Yeah, Gorshade 4.
Gorshade 3 is on a horse.
Yeah, Gorshade 4. And the theme list was where the Dawn Guard Sentinels, everybody's got flanking and all this other stuff. And the guy had me on the ropes, but he positioned Gorshade behind a building, but I had a Skin and Moans within line of sight of him with his back towards me.
Oh.
And I walked up and I smacked him a couple of times, and I had one bad dice roll, and he was left with 4 hit points. So I was like,
Oh.
shit. And so he was like, all right, I'm going to try to take down the Skin and Moans. Well, he moved Gorshade like 5 inches away or whatever because he was stationary, so I couldn't get a free strike because he had popped feet. I had to because he was just beating the crap out of my army. And so he went up, tried to beat the crap out of it with a jack, did a pretty decent amount of damage, charged Lanissa Rissel in, and she didn't do enough. So he had 2 boxes in one, 1 box in one, and then so I had taken that, and I took the child over and force hammered the jack that was in front of my Skin and Moans, like 2 to 3 inches away. He did not have Lanissa Rissel positioned in front of my Skin and Moans, so I then pushed Abuse on it and made him speed 7. Walked over to Gorshade and then finished it. And after the fact, and after it was done, because we were talking about getting through it, because it was a really tight squeeze, but we used, the widgets and templates and everything to make sure everything fit and nothing got pushed around or whatever. Because I wasn't like directly next to the building, I was like a smidge away from the building, and then Lanissa Rissel was on the side of me, so I could go to the left a bit and then move forward. And we used like the one steppers and all this other stuff. It was really close. And then he goes, and then he goes, you know what I forgot to do? I says, what? I forgot to free strike with Lanissa Rissel.
Oh.
Which he could have done and could have disabled the system, although my Skin and Bones had 3 Fury on him, or 3 corpses, so he could have used that to heal. But he could have killed it. And we had totally forgot about it. And he totally forgot about it. We were more worried about making sure that I could get through and do it legally than anything else. But he was like, "It's my fault. It's nothing I can do."
What's the armor on Skin and Bones?
At that time, it was armor 21.
Yeah, she's not likely to do much to it.
No, so. But whenever he first attacked, it was 21. But whenever it was going through the free strike, he was 19.
Oh,
and then he for a G Wiz, he decided he was rolling. I said, "Don't do that. You're gonna hate yourself." And he rolled. He rolled 665.
And I'm like, "Don't do it.
Don't do it. You'll just be mad." And then let's see what else. My second game was against Kaya 2 and Bird Spam.
Okay,
and it was a really good game. I bricked up really hard so he couldn't just drop in and kill King of Nothing no time flat. Because I'd placed a cloud wall over the entire front so he couldn't charge me. So he had to fly over. He found out what happens when the first thing I gave was the Arcana was he killed one of my Krabbits. And so I gave Taste of Ash. And so every time he kills a Krabbit in D3 nearest models, and it was doing D3 damage to the birds, and D3 damage to everybody, and I actually hit his caster once or twice, I can't remember. Second round, he tried to come in and do a bunch of damage, popped his feet, and I made him where he had to charge everything, he couldn't just walk up, because he had moved one end of my control area, and so I was like, what, you can't, -2 speed. And he just started positioning, so I couldn't get to his caster. But I had the Glimmer Imps, and when a Glimmer Imp is within 5 inches of an enemy model and in line of sight, they're at -2 defense, so it nullified his feet, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And so my guys just tore into everything. He had me up on 3 control points, because I had bricked up too much, and then all of a sudden I just...
So it was Kaya 3 then, right?
Or yeah, Kaya 3, I guess is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, the mounted version.
Like, that's not her feet.
Or the mounted version was it Kaya 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just beat his entire army down, charged his caster. I forgot to enrage a Skin and Moans on her. Or no, a Skin and...
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a Skin and Moans. And so I would have killed her. And so I knocked her down to 3 hit points. And she moved away. And I was about to countercharge with my Rattler. But he stayed just within melee. And then he looked at it and goes, "There's no way I can win. You've killed every single one of my beasts except for one. And I can't do anything." And he's like, "I can't control or can't do anything. You got it. Good game." And I was like, "Okay." Third game was against Axis 13 Galvanizer spam. It's my friend Nick, which him and I have been playing together for forever.
Wait, he plays that and he's still your friend?
Yeah. And I had to play Child into it and just try to beat everything down as much as possible. I had really horrible dice rolls. He had me up on 3-0 on control points because he was able to, just push all my models out of the zone. I got a little too aggressive with my Gremlin Swarms, and he was able to kill them off. I was like, dang it, should have just moved them over. And then,
you can't be too aggressive with them.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still learning on it. But I had a Skin and Moans that was fully functional. I had to knock one model out of the way, which I force hammered the model out of the way, and then charged Axis because he had 0 focus on him, and killed him. Because abuse is nasty.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so that went that way. And then my last game was against Vlad. Vlad, 3 Juggernauts, 3 Marauders. It was like 8 Jack. It was the Vlad Jack spam. And I just can't handle that.
Yes.
It's playing tit for tat, and it was just pretty much over by the time I was about halfway through the game. I was like, I can't do anything against it. It says, I'm going to try just so I can get some extra points and try to do what I can, but for the most part, I cannot stop.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So, but from that, I rearranged both of my lists, and I had removed out, which Banky and I have been having a discussion about which is better, Cage Ragers or Skin and Moans. And through every one of my games, all my Cage Ragers lived, but they didn't do enough. One Cage Rager would go in with a mat 6 and movement of 4. Just couldn't get in and do the damage. So I was like, I'm going to rip this Cage Rager out and put in 4 Skin and Moans in my list. 4 Skin and Moans can do some damage.
Absolutely.
So, but it was good. It was good fun. Playing some good players, playing some good top players. I mean, we had John Damaris show up, Brent Simon, Brendan Shirley, Carl Jones, bunch of people. We're getting a lot of pretty decent crew come out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just fun seeing John Damaris come out and play with us. Even though it was a big,
absolutely.
Other than that, I mean, it was fun. I mean, I love going to tournaments. Even if I don't do good, I always think I'm going to do horrible, and I usually come out decent.
That's the best. You get the best attitude about it.
Yeah. Because I don't... we were talking on the way home. It says, I guess what it is I don't live and breathe War Machine. I just write my list and says, yeah, I think this is going to work, and I go with it and work at it. I mean... And if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. I don't care. I just don't take it that serious. I don't want to. I just want to throw dice, win if I can, not make it a good game.
And have a good time.
Yep. Other than that, I mean, it was a pretty good weekend. Pretty good week. I mean, we got a pretty decent show coming up. And then next week, we've got a huge show coming up next week. Oh my God, next week is insane.
It's so huge, I can't even fit in it.
I know. You were banned from this one.
Really. You know, they don't mirror around women. It's a good idea. We're too sexy.
Too sexy. It'd be too much sexy in one podcast. I mean, we're going to have, 6 incredibly awesome women painters, and then we're going to have Seth.
Damn!
And then me. Of course, I'm going to be there. But, yeah, our next one's going to be huge. Oh, Indeed. It is 7 o'clock. You're supposed to be keeping track of time, man.
You were on a roll, and it just turned 7 o'clock.
You're so lazy. Oh my god.
I actually want to get alcohol.
Okay, yes, I do have too, because all I have is Maker's Mark. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and shut it down real quick, restart it back up so we can get a good feed going, and we'll be right back. Other than that, make sure you refresh in just a little bit.